Hi and welcome to this video. Today we're gonna discuss the top 11 worst Windows 11 features. While Windows 11 comes with some positive changes, there is no doubt that it also comes with a lot of negative changes, some of which aren't fully implemented yet. So let's not waste time yapping and let's start with the first feature. Widgets Panel. I cannot speak for everybody, obviously, but I think most people don't like it, for the simple reason that it's just useless. If you want to see news, you do your own research, especially nowadays when both alternative media and mainstream media spread a lot of wrong information. Besides that, it's super annoying and slightly slows the system down, as any feature would. However, if you have a good, useful feature, it's worth it, but I think the Widgets panel clearly isn't one of them. Also, for some reason I can't explain, it auto-opens for me without any reason. I think it also auto-opens when you hover your mouse over the weather icon. After people complained about widgets auto-opening when hovering over specific apps, Microsoft added an option to disable it. However, it's still there and auto-enabled by default. Notepad. Notepad is and was a pretty simple text editor where you could change and view text files or other files. It was useful because it was so simple. I used it when I just wanted something unimportant, opened quickly to change it and then close it again, since other programs usually take some 100 milliseconds longer. Now these milliseconds do matter if you just want something unimportant done very fast, where the design or advanced features don't matter. However, in Windows 11, Microsoft introduced a new Notepad. At first glance I was positive. Having multiple tabs inside Notepad is honestly a pretty good idea. However, this was just at first glance. After using it a bit, I quickly noticed a couple of issues. The first issue is when I copy and paste a very long text without line breaks, inside Notepad it doesn't automatically create a new line or add a horizontal scroll bar. This means there is no way to view the text, it just gets stuck behind the viewable space. Another issue, which isn't a bug but more annoying, is when you close Notepad. It reopens the previously unclosed files. It sounds good, but it's not. It's super annoying, especially when a file doesn't exist anymore, which happens a lot in my case. I end up with 20 tabs, all files that no longer exist, forcing me to click yes delete every time. Taskbar feature regressions. Yep, Microsoft didn't just downgrade Notepad, they did the same thing with the taskbar. While you can still change the taskbar icons to be right, left or centered, you cannot change the entire position of the taskbar anymore. Some users place their taskbar up, left or right back in Windows 10. I personally am not affected by this, but other users are. It just doesn't make any sense why this wouldn't exist in Windows 11. Since it's one version higher than Windows 10, meaning it should have everything Windows 10 has and more, but this is clearly not the case here. New Start menu. At first glance, which is true, the Windows 11 Start menu looks more modern, smoother and cleaner, like everything else in Windows 11. But when it comes to the actual clicks needed to accomplish something, customization and so on, it's actually once again a downgrade. Compared to Windows 10, the Windows 11 Start menu offers fewer customization options. You generally need more clicks to accomplish the same task. Also, not to be forgotten, by default, you can disable it. The Start menu can show apps you haven't even installed. These apps are usually promoted apps, which is crazy considering you likely paid for a Windows license. Complicated default app settings. Windows 11 makes it increasingly difficult to change default apps. Even though some users claim Windows 11 provides more options. The reality is they made it harder, forcing you to spend more time achieving the same outcome as Windows 10 when removing default apps. Take the default browser Edge for example. If you want to replace it with Firefox, you now have to change not just the default browser setting, but also the default browser for almost every single file type. This leads us directly to our next point, namely forced Edge and Bing integration. Yes, beyond making it hard to change defaults, Windows 11 has several areas focusing the use of Microsoft Edge and Bing. Even if you selected a different default browser or search engine, certain aspects of Windows 11, like the search query inside the Start menu, the widget newsfeed, and other system links, will always redirect to Microsoft Edge, regardless of your default browser. Windows 11 uses a special URI, Microsoft -Edge double point, to route these links to Edge, bypassing your default browser. In my opinion, this is a sneaky way from Microsoft to artificially boost their products. In late 2022 and 2023, Microsoft even tested full-screen ads in Chrome via Windows notification, asking users to switch to Bing. Mandatory Microsoft account sign-in. Unlike previous Windows versions, Windows 11 requires users to log in with a Microsoft account for most installations. They removed the easy option to create a local offline account during setup. At launch, Windows 11 Home forced an online Microsoft account sign-in to complete the setup. With the 22H2 update, this requirement was extended to Windows 11 Pro as well. In other words, unless you use tricks, you can set up a new Windows 11 PC without internet access and a Microsoft account. And this means you are forcibly integrated into other Microsoft services as well. Many users complain they shouldn't be forced to tie their personal PC login to an online account. Also during setup, Windows now prompts you to try Microsoft 365, OneDrive backup and more. Microsoft tries everything possible, as reflected in other features discussed in this video, to push you towards their ecosystem. I suspect Microsoft is jealous of Apple and wants to recreate the Apple ecosystem because it means more money and more control. Show more options context menu. With Windows 11, Microsoft introduced a minimalistic and modern looking right-click context menu. This is the little pop-up menu when you right-click a file or empty space to rename, delete, and so on. There were zero problems with the Windows 10 right-click menu. It just worked perfectly. Literally nobody complained about this, but Microsoft changed it anyway, probably to justify selling a new Windows. This trend is common in big companies, otherwise large employee numbers can't be justified. The problem now is instead of just right-clicking and selecting what you want, you have to click show more options for many tasks, opening the old Windows 10 context menu. So effectively, you have to click 3 times instead of 2, and you still see the old design. One major issue is that third-party apps like 7-Zip can no longer add the options directly. They are hidden under show more options. Windows Copilot. Well yeah, how could this video end without mentioning AI? Microsoft, like other big companies, tried to push so much AI as possible to the user. With update 23H2, Windows 11 officially released Windows Copilot after some testing in mid-2023. I chatted a few minutes with it, and honestly, it's pretty bad. The design and chat experience feel incomplete and rushed. Many users, including myself, find Windows Copilot pretty much useless. It's hidden in some taskbar upward arrow, at least it's not too annoying, but still pointless. That's why nobody says, hey, let me quickly open Copilot. Everyone just uses ChatGPT or other alternatives. AI recall. AI recall is one of the worst things I ever heard from Microsoft. The idea alone feels more like a surveillance spy system than an operating system feature. AI recall takes snapshots of your screen activities every 5 seconds whenever content changes and stores them locally. Even with encryption, it poses massive security risks. If a hacker gains access, they basically get your entire activity history in screenshots. Currently, it's only available on Copilot Plus PCs, but I wouldn't be surprised if it eventually ships to regular Windows 11 users. Hardware requirements. Windows 11 is the first Windows ever to have strict hardware requirements, and I do even say these requirements are significantly higher than previous versions. There is a realistic possibility that your PC is more than powerful enough to easily support Windows 11, but still gets excluded simply because it doesn't have TPM 2.0 chips, or because your CPU is considered too old. Now, there seems to be some security reason behind it, but I honestly don't see why it needs to be a strict requirement. It might be a better idea to make it optional, with a warning message informing users that the system could be more vulnerable to certain attacks without TPM 2.0. TPM 2.0 includes security mechanisms that older hardware doesn't have. Conclusion. Yes, some workflows are faster in Windows 11 compared to Windows 10, and there are good design changes like Task Manager customization. However, Microsoft actions make me view Windows negatively, due to increased restrictions and forced integrations. If this continues, Windows might become as restrictive as macOS, a nightmare scenario. Anyway, I hope you liked the video. If yes, leave a like and a subscribe. See you next time.